All right. Welcome everybody. We know we've got some people who are still slowly making their way in. We are really excited that you are all here today. This has been a very fun project slash labor of love that Trace and I and more of the team, who we'll introduce to you later, have been working on for the last, I don't know, call it 6 months or so, 5 months, 6 months, something like that. And there's a great story behind this, but without further ado, we're going to introduce today color creation. This is also an opportunity for us to really introduce to the church community, but also to the ACS family of churches, my team. So my name is Chris Cahias. Some of you know me from a long time ago, from the ministry platform days, but I have changed roles. So instead of leading the ministry platform team, I now lead all of ACS's innovation efforts, along with a very fun skunkworks type of team. So yes, that is my AI generated avatar. It was created from a photo that was taken. And yes, I did wear a tuxedo t-shirt to an ACS function on a dare. And unfortunately, they took lots of photos of it. And then I thought it would be hilarious to convert one of those photos to my now avatar. But really the star of the show today is Trace Jackson, who well, I'll let her introduce herself because it'll be more fun that way.
Well, I also have an AI generated avatar. It makes me look like I'm a secret agent or something, but I'm really not. I am part of Chris's team in the innovation world, but I like to say that I'm also the lead innovator wrangler, which really means that I try to follow Chris around and make sure that he stays on target. And so that's kind of what I do encapsulated. But we have a wonderful entire team, which again you're going to hear about a little bit later, that I've absolutely adored being a part of. So I guess we'll just kind of jump in. Then we do have a little housekeeping. Everyone's like, oh no, some rules. They're not really rules, but we just want to let you know first and foremost, we want you guys to have fun. Let me see if this picks up. There we go. There we go. Have fun. Hey. I believe that serving the kingdom should make our hearts soar, and that is enjoyable, right? So since this app that we'll be sharing is to help us serve the kingdom, then using it should be fun, and hearing about it should be fun. Serving the kingdom should be fun. So that's rule number one, you guys. And then join the conversation. There's an icon. Most of you have found it, and it looks like a chat bubble. So click it, let everybody know where you're from. We would love chit chat during the presentation. We don't want to just be talking heads up here. We want to have a conversation with all of you. Some of you may not have noticed, but there's a little host and panelist, that little blue drop down. If you change that to say everyone, then when you chat, everyone in the chat room can see it. Otherwise, when you do host and panelists, it's only Chris and me, which is fine. You can do that too. And then if you have questions, we want to answer them. But to help us help you, can you please put your questions in the Q&A panel? That's a separate section from the chat. So you want to look for the little Q&A icon and use that. It really helps us. It's just the two of us on the webinar today. So it helps us to keep all of your questions collected in one place for us, so that when we are doing the Q&A time, we can just refer to that and try, instead of trying to scroll through the chat and try to find them. So help us help you. And then the final and most important rule is to have fun. It is that important that we've mentioned it twice. We just really want to have a good time today. So without further ado, I'm just going to kind of jump right into the story. Is that cool, Chris?
Let's rock and roll. Just
All
as
right.
Trey said,
Well,
throw those questions in over there. We already
yeah.
answered one in the chat, but don't forget, like, we will lose your questions. All right, here we go.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, so I really wanted to share where the idea of color creation came from. And Chris, just jump in if you have something to add, because you were there. So once upon a time, Chris and I were in a meeting, very much like this, and we were preparing for a presentation on AI. We were sharing our screens, we had our cameras on, and he was walking me through how he had been using AI for his church to generate sermon outlines, social posts, and things like that. Really cool stuff. And then he mentioned to me that they had just introduced an image generation model in the latest version of ChatGPT, because this is way back when. This has gone several iterations since then. But I was like, images, images. So I said, Chris, wouldn't it be cool if? And then I laid the scenario out that my church was facing. We are a small church in a small mountain town, and we don't have enough volunteers to have like a traditional Sunday school for kids. We just don't, we can't do it. We don't have a lot of kids anyway. So we set up what we called a kid zone, and that's this picture that you're seeing here. The kid zone is in the back of our little sanctuary room, and it's got those little, the little short table with short chairs that kids can sit at within just a few feet of the nearest pew. And at this table, they can color and draw while the service happens. And so I said, Chris, if AI can generate images, wouldn't it be cool if it could make coloring pages that match the topic of the sermon being preached? So all of our littles sitting at the kids zone can be listening to the word while they're coloring it at the same time and just helping to reinforce the message that they're hearing. And Chris said, in his very
Stand by.
eloquent way, he said, say it again.
Stand by.
Stand by. Those were his words. Stand by. And I watched him on the screen right in front of me just prompt ChatGPT to create our very first ever coloring page. And my jaw hits the floor, and Chrissy runs into laughter. And very quickly, we realized, Chris realized we could do something with this.
There's
Now,
actually
he's
a funny piece of that, like not to tell this piece of the story ahead of time, but yeah. Oh no, maybe I should wait. Keep going, Trace. I'm sorry. I get excited about this
cliffhanger,
part.
cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry about that. So yeah, so well, you're the smarty smart of the group. You're the leader of the pack. So I'm just going to go ahead and throw it to you to go ahead and talk about the approach because this part is a little bit over my head. So here you go.
So the funny thing is this came to be kind of I'll call it say haphazardly. We're going to actually say actually I shouldn't say that. I believe I'll call this a movement of the spirit because what happened was, or as we usually say, so what happened was, so we were going to compete last fall. We competed in the Glue Hackathon. And by competing, I really mean participated in because we really didn't go with this idea of it being a competition. We were there to be part of the conversation around AI in the church. And, I'll say shameless plug for Glue and Glue AI. They're doing some really cool things, and we have participated 2 years in a row in their hackathon. And the idea is we have a short little time to build a product that uses AI to promote the church, to promote human flourishing within the church. And we had this idea of, I don't want to say something that was very traditional and boring, but something that was very traditional and boring. And I'll say it to you guys this way. I was out for a walk one morning, and I was honestly having a conversation with God and saying, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. That's boring. I want to do something that is whimsical and fun and different. And all of a sudden, the coloring sheet idea jumped into my head. And I'm pretty sure I came back home, called Trace, and I'm like,
Yes.
we're changing it all. We're not going to do what we were going to do. We're going to start over and do this because this is whimsical and fun and different. So anyway, all that to say, this came about because of really just this movement of an idea and then this flowing, kind of going with the flow of what the spirit wants to do. And here we are. So the approach was, okay, obviously there are a number of ways one might create a coloring sheet using some of the various AIs out there. There's a couple things that we set out to do from the beginning because they're really important to us, especially, but I also believe to all of you in the church. Obviously, we wanted something that was not going to allow the creation of, shall we say, not safe for church kind of images. We also wanted a way to really give our children's ministries and the people who are going to be using this, I would say a soft landing into the world of AI. So what we've done inside of this product is you have multiple things going on. And in just a minute, Trace is going to be demoing it for you. We went through this approach of first we had to pick, an image generation large language model. And please don't let that be foreign to you. This is just the AI that generates pictures. Then we had to teach it how to create things that don't have color. And you may or may not believe this, but it's pretty difficult to teach something that has been trained on millions and billions of photographs um, that we don't want color. We don't want it all filled in. So there's a number of iterations of doing that. And in the end, we ended up landing on an engine called ideogram, or you can choose how you want to say it. And their engine A has a ton of safeguards pre-built into the engine to protect our littles from somebody creating something that they shouldn't. But part two to that is we also incorporated another LLM that's designed to help you craft a prompt. You've all heard of probably prompts and AI and everything. And, there's even jobs called prompt engineering, but we didn't want it to be that hard for everybody. So we've really sought to come after something that's going to make it very easy to get in and get going, but it doesn't preclude you from having the opportunity as your, I'll say, skills with this tool grow to get really creative. So without further ado, and without much more chit chat about how we did it, I'm going to
Oh,
let
Chris, did you want
Trace.
to mention
Yeah.
copyright?
Yeah, let's talk about copyright. So one of the biggest reasons we took this approach is Trace's church, like many, the coloring sheets they have access to are typically, probably based on a curriculum that they've purchased, or, maybe they've found a couple of coloring sheet resources out there. And the idea here is we wanted this to be so simple that you could contextually create a coloring sheet to go with anything. And oh, by the way, we don't just mean church services. We've had some conversations with a couple of people who produce even small group kind of curriculum and have showed them how easy it would be for them to even just take the Bible verse or verses or chapter, and our tool will create some suggestions for coloring sheets. So the nice thing for our churches is these can be used without copyright. So based on the current state of the laws in the United States, blah, 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 legalese, AI generated artwork is copyright free. So long as, let's get something out there, you're not violating anyone's likeness. And what I mean by that is, don't ask AI to generate a coloring sheet of Michael Jordan giving Jesus a high five. Okay.
Although
While
that would be cool.
it probably will create a very lovely coloring sheet, you get into a gray area that could get you in trouble because now you're moving into you're getting into someone's likeness. Um, which, while not explicitly a copyright violation, will probably create more noise than you want to deal with. So I'm going to give you Chris's rule of thumb here: avoid likeness, but beyond that, create to your heart's content on the scriptures. And we'll even show you some fun ones. We've got Jesus driving a Tesla, which was absolutely hilarious to create because I had no clue if it would. So with that, yeah, I will say for 99% of the time, you're going to be able to roll through with all these coloring sheets, print them to your heart's content. And by the way, not just print them. One of the things that used to drive me nuts as a former church guy, all of us have children who can't come to church some weeks because they're maybe with mom or with dad. One of the things that we're really pumped about is the idea of these coloring sheets could be even just, put the coloring sheet of the week on your website as a PDF. Um, Kids can download them, print them. You've got an opportunity to very easily add the scripture top or bottom and title them and really just connect with the kids both in and out of church. So we're not 100% sure all the ways that you guys will use this tool moving forward, but we're also trying not to put too many limits on it. So again, because it's copyright free, feel free to print, share, download, use it for mission trips, take it around the world, throw it on your website. Sky's the limit. We just wanted to give you a really powerful tool. So we'll see the tool. Let's have some fun.
All right, let's dive in. This is what you guys came here for. And there are some people in the audience who have been with Chris and me for many, many years. He mentioned Ministry Platform, which was a product or a company really that acquired us. We got acquired by ACS Technologies. And so those users, those community members have been with us for years. And so the reason I say that is at this point in the presentation, that's when they would start chanting demo, demo, demo. So feel free to chant the demo in the chat. Yeah, see Jamona. Jamona's part of that community. Thank you, Jamona, for that. All right, let's get into it. So I'm going to switch my screen over. Da, 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 and we'll get going. All right, can you guys see my screen?
Gotcha.
All right, and I'm going to pull up my text just in case I get any prompts from my friend Patrick. Okay, so first I want to show you just the library. So when you first log in, you're going to see this library, and this library contains all of the images or coloring pages that any of our users create. So as soon as you create one, it shows up here in the library. You can scroll down, shows you the first 9. You can load more, and it's going to show you the next 9, and so on, starting with the most recent, going all the way back to conception. Is it the first 12? I thought it was the first 9. So then once you're in this library and you see something that you like, yes, 4x3, it just hit me. The math wasn't mathing. Once you see an image that you like, you can click on it. And now you can kind of see it a little bit larger. You can see the title, see who created it, when it was created. You can see that there's a tag. Not all images have tags. In fact, some of the older images don't have very many tags, but that'll come in handy later. But then from here, you can download it as either a PNG or a PDF. The title will display on the PDF when you download it. You can also save it to your favorites, which I will go ahead and do that now. So thank you, Patrick, for making this beautiful image that I wanted to save in my favorites. If you created it for yourself, you would also see this hide image button, which I'll show you in just a moment. And then if this just wasn't exactly what you were looking for, you can also create your own from here. Now, I did want to mention that if I downloaded it or favorited it, I will be able to find all of those here under my profile, under my favorites or my downloads. And then anything that I create myself is going to show up under my creation. So these are just some filters that allow you to, basically you're just looking at the library, but you're filtering specifically for things that you either created, favorited, or downloaded. All right, heading back to the library. Oh, what was I going to show you here? Chris, you'll have to look at my notes because I don't see them anymore. So I guess I'll just go into create my own. Shall we create our own? This is the exciting part, you guys. And just pray that the software doesn't crash. That's my big fear whenever we do a demo.
Come on now, Trace. Don't worry about it.
Real software.
Have a little faith.
So this is your palette. This is your palette where you're going to create your own color creation. And you can type in anything that you want. It can be just like a description, maybe, kids in a playground or something like that. You can even put in a Bible verse, like a reference. So you can say like, Matthew 14:1 or whatever. Or you can actually reference a specific story, like maybe saying, Jesus heals the sick. So let's try that. Or we'll do the blind man. All right, so what I'm doing is, you saw me select, I'm actually copying so I could just paste the title in here, but you can put whatever you want in here for the title, and don't worry, you can always go back and edit it later. This is not your final. So we're just going to click next. And when we do that, color creation is going to think through several different scenes and present those scenes to you. Yay! Look at that, it worked. So you can see, I'll give you a second to kind of read through those if you want. It's going to present some scenes for you, but you can always opt to say, you know what, no, thank you. I'm just going to go ahead and create my own prompt. So at this point, you can just override the scenes that it came up for you and be like, I want this. I want to be very specific. I've seen a few people in the chat say, how specific can I get? You can create your own prompt and you can get as specific as you want. So I'm just going to say, let's just go ahead and take this first one and we're going to hit next. Now at this point, color creation is saying, all right, here's the prompt. You have an opportunity, your final opportunity to now review, make any last edits or whatever. So I can add something in, put a tree in the background, whatever. And of course, now I can't type because people are watching over my shoulder. Now I'm going to hit create, and this is where the magic happens. It's going to generate my coloring page for me. It does take a minute.
By a minute, we mean probably 30 seconds or
Right, right, right,
so.
right.
But what you have to know is under the hood, there are trillions of mathematical operations taking place. So it's
Yeah.
pretty amazing.
Oh, good. Okay. I'm gonna sound excited about this, but AI made a little oopsie, but this is good. I was hoping that this would happen. So first of all, I want to focus on what's happening here on the right-hand side. So here's where I said you can always go back and change the title later, whatever you want it to say. You can also enter tags. Now the tags are going to come in handy as I'm going to circle back here in just a minute to show you the search feature. So I can say, heal, blind, Jesus, whatever. And then again, you've already seen this. You can download as a PNG or PDF, save it to your favorites. And as the creator, I can now hide the image. Why would I want to do that? Well, sometimes AI makes little goose. So for instance, we don't have eyes. It decided not to give the blind man eyes. If you can't see, maybe he just doesn't have eyes in general. Who knows what AI is going to come up with? So to that end, you do always want to just double check the image, make sure it's exactly what you were looking for. And if it just didn't cut the mustard, that's okay. You just create another one. Um, I'm going to circle back really quick on the library. And then while I'm doing that, if you guys want to give us an idea of another coloring page to create, just shoot that in the chat, and Chris is going to watch for that. And so we'll use one of your ideas to create one. While we're waiting, I'm going to come back over to the library and just talk about the search feature. So you saw me add the tags and the title. Also, that little prompt description that got typed in, all three of those are texts. And so when you're searching, it's going to be looking at titles, prompt descriptions, and the tags. So I might want to say, let's look for something with heal, which is what I just created. And now it's going to show me, it's going to filter everything with heal, either in the title, tag, description. You can also, as you're looking through the library, if you find an image by a specific creator, I'm going to look for one that maybe Patrick has done because I like his stuff. Of course, I can't spot him on demand, so I'll just look through here. Okay, so if you find an image that you like by a particular creator, you can click on their name as well, and it's going to filter all of the color pages that particular user has created. And then one other thing I wanted to show you in the library, because we did talk about tags, is, and I have to find one that actually has a tag. Where's the one that I just created? Here's the one that I just created. And I gave it a tag. So when you find one with a tag that you like, you can also click on that. And then again, it's going to filter by all tags. Okay. That's right. It didn't show up in the library because I hid it. All right, did I cover everything in the library and our initial pass on create my own?
Okay, we've got a. So I'm going to hit you with a couple of questions, Trace.
Okay, great, great.
And then we do have some suggestions coming in for some different, maybe another image to create. So we got a question about when you were in Create, someone
Mhm.
noticed the limited number of creations, and they were curious what the refresh cycle is and how many they get a day.
Yeah, that's a great question. So, you get 5 free creations a day, and you'll see the progress go through as you create them. And once you hit your 5 for the day, it's gonna cut your creations off until the next morning when you can come in and create 5 more. Does that sound about right?
That's correct.
Now, mine doesn't move because I'm an admin, so I have special privileges. I guess that's what happens when you when you're part of the team, right? So mine is always going to say I have 4 more left over. So I didn't want you guys to think that's a glitch. It's always going to tell me I have 4 more, no matter how many I've created. So my progress bar doesn't actually move.
All right. So we got another one. Jamona's asking, so all images created by all users go to the public library unless hidden? Question mark.
Yes, that is correct. So every image or coloring page that gets created lands in the library unless you hide it, and then other users will not see it.
Okay. And we've got one I think you might want to demo. Amy's asking, can you type in a scripture reference and
Absolutely. Yeah.
ask it to create from that?
Yeah. Do you have a scripture reference in mind? Do you want me to try one?
We have a lot of suggestions for creating them, but we didn't actually get a specific scripture reference. Let's just go with Psalm 119. Let's see what it does with that.
All right. This is always the exciting part, just to see what seems. Well, there we go. Um, oh, an image of a child planting seeds in a garden. That's an interesting one.
Oh, I love that one.
All right, shall we go with that one?
I think so. Let's really push the so let's see what
Let's
we
push
can.
the AI budget. Now, just know, guys, we've got some words here, and I'm going to let Chris talk about how AI struggles over words.
So
I'm gonna.
while this is rendering, yeah, so I'll share with everybody words. So as you notice, our prompting engine put the words that we want it to show inside of quotes. So you definitely want to do that. Like if you want it to show words, I'm going to give you a couple rules of thumb. One, put quotes around the words. But number two, don't use too many. Because what happens is it's called a hallucination, but AI is not great with words. It's good with pictures, but there are only a couple of AI engines that can really handle words pretty well, and they typically don't do well. So what I'm going to share with you is as follows. What's really cool about this moment is if we liked this picture, which I would probably hit the hide image button and try again personally. But let's just say you did like it. If you were to take this image and download it as a PNG and pull it into any image editor, and there are free ones out there, I know a lot of our churches are using things like Canva, you could quickly just erase the words inside of those circles and now put your own words in there. In this case, it's pretty good. We've got hope, love, we've got hope again, we've got knowledge. Um, but the thing I want to share with everybody is, and yeah, Patrick just pointed out paint.net is great. There's even some online image editors now that are free and easy to use. Um, One thing I want to say to everybody is like, and we're talking about this on the other side of the house. So ACS is doing some AI and ministry webinars pretty much throughout the year. So if you're interested in those, keep a weather eye open. We'll be inviting you to other things. And what we talk about a lot with AI, it's not a one-shot tool. It's not a silver bullet. It's not a magic tool. It's a tool. And like any other tool, you have to A, learn how to work with it, but also B, what I'm going to use the word is you have to collaborate with it. And sometimes I think one of the most powerful things we can do is use a tool like this to jumpstart an idea and then pull it into another tool and really polish it up and make it exactly what you want. So in this case, personally, I'm hiding this one and starting over, but the idea is sound. You can put words in. I would just recommend try to keep it very limited as to the number you do.
Yeah.
Another thing, if you're a church who really likes like digging into Hebrew and Greek, it will create Hebrew looking letters that don't actually mean anything. So one of my favorite elders is a Jewish believer, and the first thing he did was try to get it to put some stuff in Hebrew, and he's like, it looks like it's Jewish, but it doesn't actually say anything. So just rule of thumb for all of you: words are a challenge, but the pictures are good.
Yeah. Now we've got quite a few questions
We
in the
do.
Q&A panel. Thank you, by the way, to
So
those who are using the Q&A panel.
one
Um,
of the 5 questions per day, is that per person or per church?
oh, it's per user, per person.
Per person.
Yeah.
Awesome. So we've got a couple of questions around, can we make pictures that are less detailed or simpler for toddlers and preschoolers?
Yes. So first of all, when you are looking through the library, you will probably come across some that are less detailed. I know I was creating some a little bit ago, kind of like this. But yeah, you can get super simple. A child in a garden, let's just say. And then it's probably gonna give you some extra stuff, but you can say no thanks. Um, a child in a garden, very simple. Um, one tree and some flowers. Would you say that's pretty good,
Yeah.
Chris? And here's the thing about using the system. I know for me in particular, um, we call it AI, but really I'm the one that's learning. I'm learning how to prompt better. I'm learning how to ask for things and get a result that I really, really want. So even that one I would consider a little bit too complex. I would try it again. But as you're playing with it, you'll start to learn how to do prompts that really get a result that you're looking for. Um, and then on that note, we did have another question on whether or not you could
Yep.
use an existing image um, as like a starter point. And that's, Chris, I'll let you answer that because I know that's something that we've been thinking through.
Absolutely. Uh, yeah, so not yet. I'll go ahead and say it like that. So the answer to that question at the moment is not yet. We are working towards that. So I see that Jamona asked that. Um, it is our, so I will share with everyone to some degree. We are limited at the current pace that some of the engines are moving forward. So we will be over the next month or so experimenting with a, hey, could I just ask it to add something to this image? But we are not there yet. So you can do that. So cool. The next question, Ashley, I might need you to add more context. Would it work to type in simple graphics? Maybe give me a little bit more on that question. I'm not sure I fully understand it. Um, and then Leslie's asking, if you don't like the image you created, can you delete it or do you just hide it and try again?
So you can hide it. I would say if it's an appropriate image, go ahead and keep it in the library. It's not going to hurt anything. Other users might find it helpful. I would say only hide something if it's maybe like missing eyes or something like that, if there's an actual oopsie. But yes, definitely try again, try again. Hopefully that answers it. We don't have a way right now to delete. That's not something that we've just kind of relied on the hide feature.
We have another one that's interesting. Can I prompt it with the pastor's focus and function statements I'm going to say it says, as well as theme or takeaway of the sermon, can I add some text with an application activity? So you can prompt it with anything you want. The challenge is going to be, so for instance, if we just take, like, let's just say we take the pastor's main, like, I'm going to suggest to you this. Uh, the theme will probably give you a better image than maybe all of the other. Um, but I want to honestly raise my hand and say to all of you, I have not personally gone in and basically said, hey, our theme is holiness, and the pastor's practical application was serving others even when maybe they don't deserve it or something like that. Like, I will go ahead and say to you guys, have not tried that yet. But I think it'd be really great if some of you did. So it would be very interesting. We would love to see the results to that. We do see so the funny thing is we'll share with you guys, we see every image that you create internally. Our team has a Slack channel. So as fast as you guys are creating images, we see them all because we're still learning and we're very, very cool. Um, can you have a coloring page that said holiness? Trace, let's try this. Let's go create another because I do think this is one of the things we've seen some people test it before. So go ahead and just put holiness in there because we're going to have to bypass the auto creator. So this is one of the things that's neat. If you want to try to create a word picture, what we're going to show you is you got to go to no thanks. I'll create my own. So let's go ahead and have this just say, create. By the way, this could totally backfire everybody, but we're
Live
trying it live with
demo.
you for fun. Create an outline of the word holiness. Um, let's just do that. I have no idea what we're gonna get. We're gonna hit go. And I apologize that I sound like I don't know what I'm doing.
It's
But
just
in the back
AI.
of my mind, I have all of the like the underpinnings of this, and I'm going, it's going to automatically try to create. And yes, this one's another hide and move on. So again, text is a challenge.
Text is very tricky. Now, one other thing I do want to mention, and then maybe Chris, you can talk a little bit more about oopsies and fails. Um, and that is when you now, for the most part, you're going to be pretty wowed by the results of your coloring creations. And so, to that end, we hope and encourage you to share this with others. We really want to support the kingdom at large. And so, we've built a way into the app directly where you can come right up to your profile and click invite a friend. Simply enter their email address, click invite, and then off goes an email to them just saying, hey, Trace Jackson is using color creation and thinks that you should too, and gives them an opportunity to then go and sign up themselves. So I did want to kind of bring attention to that before we moved on. I didn't want that to get lost.
We do have a
Uh,
number of questions about the whole portrait versus horizontal trace. So I'm going to ask
oh
you to answer
yeah.
that one live.
So right now we do only have the portrait style option. And this actually brings up a really good point. If you guys are in the app, you're using it, you're playing around with it, and you come up with some thoughts on how to like, is this going to be a future feature? Blah blah blah. Every single page is equipped with this feedback icon. So I mentioned earlier in this webinar, we're hoping that this webinar is a conversation. It's been great. I'm seeing guys blow up the chat. It's amazing. Well, we want this app to be a conversation too. So please use this feedback tool to just reach back out to us. Tell us something that you love about this app. Maybe you're not that crazy about it, but especially let us know if there's something that you think we need to fix. So if you if you're coming along, you're like, this would be great if I could get this in, landscape. Just let us know. Hey, this is great in portrait, but it would be more helpful if we could do landscape. So that is your way to talk with us, and we'll just reach back out to you if you have any questions or whatever. So, all right. With that, I am going to push it over to you, Chris, to talk about oopsies and fails.
Yeah, let's have some fun with that. And then I do want to try one more thing before the end. Ashley, I've not missed the fact that you are keep saying try it with simple graphics, which I actually do believe will have a very positive impact on simplifying it. For everybody though, like I love all the feedback about the preschool thing. So we will revisit that rather quickly to help you guys with some ways of creating some simplified graphics. We know there's more we can do. I just, when we get to the team part, you guys will get a good kick out of this. This has been a very small team, very skunk works. So you've already seen a couple of them today.
Yeah, in
Uh,
fact, is this the part in the presentation where Chris, you get to share your favorite part of
I absolutely can. So there's a fun story. I told you we did this first at a hackathon. And in a second, Trace is going to show you the photo. So it was late at night. We had been working for 2 days straight. The deadline to submit our video to really represent all of our work in building this was, I think, 6 hours away, which meant we had to sleep still and turn it in. And Trace had finished this video. I could see in her face she was totally tired. And I'm watching this 90 seconds. You get 90 seconds to really pitch this entire thing. And I got done and I'm like, it's absolutely amazing. But do you have the picture? Who can tell me what is wrong with this picture? And by the way, our whole team had watched this video multiple times. You are correct. And I looked at her and I went, this is absolutely amazing, except Mary has a beard. And the entire team absolutely lost it. They're like, all of us missed that Mary had a beard. So when we talk about the fact that AI can hallucinate. Now, the good news was we quickly recreated this photo and pretty much said Mary can't have a beard.
well, and this was our recreation. And does anyone notice anything fun and amiss with this?
Well, besides Jesus is floating. That's pretty cool, though. No, there's legs. That's a manger.
This one's a little bit harder to spot. And I believe we actually went with this one because we thought, okay,
We rolled with this one. This one was good.
yeah, yes, Chimona. There's a rabbit. There's a bunny rabbit right
There
here.
is a rabbit.
Danger scene.
So just know, okay, AI has a tendency to hallucinate. It's trying to create you an image. It's using nothing but math to do this. So just remember, like, there's a reason you get 5 per day, and we may up that limit at some point. We're uh, it does cost us something every time you click that create button, and we're just trying to figure out how this thing is going to play out as we move forward. So hallucinations happen. Inspect your image, and enjoy as well. Mary has 6 fingers. Somebody says too. Okay, well, yes, fingers and words. AI continues to improve. Am I
This
talking
one,
about this one too, Trace, or is this you?
no, go for it. This one
I'm
was
not.
actually created just today.
Oh. Yes. Do you guys see what's wrong with this one? Yeah. It's got a thing with beards.
It's
So
kind of thing with
again, investigate, and no halo on this one. That's
yeah,
right.
we did notice that when we first started using this, Ideogram was pushing out images that were great. Jesus, didn't have the halos and things, and all of a sudden something changed in Ideogram's um, algorithm or something, and all of a sudden every single biblical character was starting to get these little halos. So you'll see that in the library. There's a lot of halos that were introduced. For some reason, Ideogram just started doing that, and we were like, Patrick and I were going crazy trying to figure out, you can see little halos here. And We were like, how do we get rid of the halos? We couldn't figure it out. So sometimes ideogram will just change and all of a sudden you have no idea what's coming. Uh, this is one of my favorite oopsies.
Yes, this was a very early one. We'll just say again, inspect your images. This one was actually one of the ones we created early on, and it was meant to be the triumphal entry, but it was less than triumphant. So yes, we've had some funs with the oopsies.
Yeah.
Um,
Now, the
we
final image that I had queued up, Chris, was your Jesus in a Tesla. So,
Absolutely. So we've kept all of these in the tool, by the way. So we share this one to say there are opportunities for you to be creative beyond maybe even the totally practical. And yes, Jesus's head is sticking out the windshield of this one, but if you look at the prompt, I literally just wrote Jesus driving a Tesla car and hit go. So it wasn't meant to be a ready to go fully fledged image. It's more meant to show you there are opportunities here to really take your creative, exactly, Jesus take the wheel, literally. You guys can very much just have some fun and some creative juices flowing with this. So we really share all these to say that one was intentional. The others were hallucinations. Don't get frustrated when it hallucinates. This is AI. This is the newest technology. Something I'm going to share with everybody right now. The AI you use today in this will be the worst AI you're ever going to use. The rate of change in this technology is explosive. So, and really, our heart is let's bring one of the most powerful technologies man has ever created, and let's find a way to use it for children. So, really fast, I want to say to you guys, you're looking at two of the teammates on this. We have two other people who are on the call. We have Patrick Abernathy, who has joined the innovation team, and he has been really taking the lead on this. And then, believe it or not, we have one other awesome guy, Prakar, who is here as well. And Prakar has been he's an intern on the innovation team, which I think is totally awesome. We were really excited to get him on the team. But Prakar and Patrick are responsible for executing the entire UI facelift. So if you saw this early, it had some disgusting pink colors all over the place because our team was focused on tech and not necessarily on the look and feel. And to that, I'll also say Leah from the ACS crew helped us with a working on like a rework of the entire UI. But we are really excited. I think we're ready to roll into the moment several people have already been asking for, and I had to say, hang with us. The questions are, how do we get this and how much is it?
all
So Trace,
right.
you want to talk about the first part and I'll talk about the second part?
Yeah, well, basically, you just scan this QR code. It's going to take you right to the sign up page where you can sign up and get in, and you can literally start using it immediately. So scan that QR code if you can right now. If not, after this webinar, I will be sending this deck out to you guys where it will have this QR code, and I'll also provide a link to make it easier for you to just click the link straight from your email and get signed up.
Very good. So the second part of that question, and I'll answer it before we advance the slides. So if you guys are getting your phones out or you're scanning the QR code, very cool. So we are treating this. So this is actually the first of the innovation projects to launch as a standalone product. And we, ACST, are committed to trying to get this out there. So we're going to say this. There is no cost associated with color creation, at least through the end of Q3. So the earliest we're going to charge anybody anything for this would be October. And we are not committed to actually doing that right now. We don't know what we're going to do with this. This has been an effort, really of the Spirit and to bring something new to the church. So we're not going to. You do not have to enter a credit card to begin using this product. You guys could all go sign up right now and immediately launch into using this. That said, what we really want is we want to see how far and wide we can spread this. So, as Trace talked about earlier, the invite someone, we would love it. We would be absolutely blessed if all of you who do sign up actually invite someone else to come and use the tool. We really want to see what an impact a very simple AI tool like this could have on kingdom work. And it overjoys my heart and soul that we're starting with kids, because usually, and I can say this because I am married to someone who works in children's ministry. Usually it's kids and kids ministry that kind of is on the tail end of the technology curve. So it really warms my heart that we were able to do this here first. So we want to encourage you, please sign up, please use the tool, please give us feedback, and please share it, because we would love to impact as many churches as we can with this technology.
Yep, great. All
I think
right.
there's one more question in there if you want me to answer that real quick.
Yes, please.
To Milford, who's asking, words are tough, but can our Spanish expression use the tool with Spanish words? I want to say the answer is yes, and I will tell you why. So if you're saying, could someone type Spanish description into the prompt? Uh, the answer should be yes. Now, I have not personally tested that, so please go sign up since it's free. Throw some Spanish stuff in. And again, if you run into or encounter a problem, please use our feedback feature and tell us. Because we use and both of the LLMs we're using do understand Spanish. They both understand about 18 different languages minimally. One of them understands 80 languages partially. Um, its multilingual capabilities should be completely amazing. But we're not 100% sure until we test it. So please test away and let us know.
Great. All right. Um,
Oh, there's a
I,
question. How do I invite someone, Trace?
oh yeah, yeah. And I'll share my screen here again in just a second. We will stick around for a little bit, or if Chris has to jet, I know you've got a meeting, I can stick around a little bit. I can show you a few more color creations if you want, answer any questions that are left over. But the most important question that I'm hoping to have answered is, did you guys have fun? Was this good? Was this something you were looking for? It's very important to us that you enjoy these tools that we're pushing out, and enjoy these webinars. We're not, as you can see, we're not real super professional, and we think that's okay. Jamona, that is so sweet of you to say in the chat. Thank you. We try to be fun. All right, so with that, I do want to officially end this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop the recording, but I will hang out a little bit. I will answer, whose question was it about inviting others? Kathy, I will answer your question live. I'll show you on my screen. But before I do that, let me go ahead and kill the recording.